Welcome to the Stateless Standard, where we torch the myths of statism and illuminate the path to true freedom. I'm your digital guide through the shadows of coercion, and today we're dissecting a question that's as old as tyranny itself. Why should we obey the state? Or more pointedly, why do we let these self-appointed overlords get away with actions that would land any ordinary person in a cage? Or worse. Let's kick this off with a gem from St. Augustine, way back in his City of God. He recounts a captured pirate sassing Alexander the Great. "What is your idea in infesting the sea?" the king demands. The pirate shoots back, "The same as yours in infesting the earth, but because I do it with a tiny craft, I'm called a pirate. Because you have a mighty navy, you're called an emperor." Bam. There it is, the double standard that's plagued humanity for centuries. Why do governments get a free pass to rob, regulate, and ravage, while the rest of us mere mortals are bound by basic morality? Fast forward to today, and philosopher Michael Huemer nails it in his fantastic book, The Problem of Political Authority. Acts that would be considered unjust or morally unacceptable when performed by non-governmental agents will often be considered perfectly all right, even praiseworthy when performed by government agents. Think about it. They demand a chunk of your hard-earned cash, dictate what you can put in your body, meddle in your deals, snoop on your chats, muzzle your words, bomb innocents abroad, and sometimes drag you into their wars. Disobey? Enjoy your cell or a bullet. Huemer calls this the problem of political authority. Why do we grant governments this magical moral exemption, and is it justified? Spoiler alert, it's not. In this video, we'll dismantle the illusions propping up this farce and expose the mental gymnastics that keep the masses compliant. Buckle up, it's about to get cynical. The go-to excuse for state power is the so-called social contract theory. You know that fairy tale where we all supposedly agreed to hand over our rights in exchange for protection and order? Governments provide services like law enforcement, and we pay taxes and follow rules. Sounds neat, right? Except it's pure fiction. None of us signed jack squat. No contract was ever shoved in front of you at birth, demanding your signature. Most states weren't born from cozy agreements. They rose from blood-soaked conquests and wars. So much for consent. But the statists pivot. It's not explicit consent, it's implicit. You know, the kind you give without saying a word. Huemer breaks it down into 4 flavors, and we'll shred them one by one. First up, passive consent. That's when you agree by not objecting. Like if the boss proposes a dumb idea and you stay silent, you're on board. But apply this to the state? Laughable. The government doesn't care if you scream objections. They'll tax and cage you anyway. No real way to opt out means no valid contract. It's not agreement, it's submission. Next, consent through acceptance of benefits. You use public roads or schools, so you're hooked. You owe obedience. Cute, but again, bogus. These benefits are shoved down your throat whether you want them or not. And rejecting them? Good luck opting out without upending your life. Plus, the state attaches demands to stuff you never asked for. It's like a mobster protecting your shop and then billing you. Voluntary? Hardly. Third, consent through participation. Vote, engage in politics, and boom, you've signed on. But voting? It's a sham ritual that changes nothing fundamental. And not participating doesn't exempt you. The state still comes knocking. Huemer sums it up. Almost everyone knows that the state will still impose the same laws and the same taxes on one, regardless of whether one objects, accepts a government service, or participates in the political process. So no implicit agreement here, just coercion dressed up as choice. The last ditch, consent through presence. You're here, so you consent. Don't like it? Leave. The classic love it or leave it cop-out. Sure, you can emigrate unless you're jailed or broke. But even if you can, why should rejecting the state's nonsense require abandoning your home, job, family, and everything you own? Huemer calls this out. It's like a board chairman demanding you pay to dissent from a meeting time. Absurd. And unless the state owns everything, which is straight-up communism, forcing you to forfeit your property to say no thanks is tyrannical. Implicit consent? More like implicit slavery. With consent theories crumbling, some fall back on majority rule. If most people want a government, that binds everyone. Democracy's sacred cow. Right? Wrong. Numbers don't magically create rights. If 4 out of 5 at dinner vote you pay the whole tab, are you obligated? Hell no, that's just bullying. Scale it up. Majorities have justified slavery, genocide, concentration camps. Huemer asks, how does a bigger group's opinion justify coercing the smaller one? It doesn't. Majority consent doesn't confer special moral status. It just amplifies mob rule. Then there's the consequentialist dodge. Sure, government's coercive, but the benefits outweigh the costs. Order, safety, prosperity, worth the obedience tax. Popular, but slippery. Who's measuring these benefits? It's subjective as hell. History's littered with regimes that were net disasters. Mao's China, Pol Pot's killing fields, Hitler's Reich, Stalin's gulags. Even in quote-unquote good governments, add up the hidden costs. Wars, debt, cronyism, etc. And even if benefits are real, does that justify violence? If a billionaire philanthropist saves lives, do we let him tax and bomb? No? Then why the state? Claiming only governments get this pass begs the question, assuming the very authority we're questioning. If you ask me, it's because power protects itself with plausible lies. So if all these justifications flop, why do most folks still bow to the state? Enter the mind tricks, cognitive biases that dupe us into obedience. Huemer spotlights a few that keep the illusion alive. First, status quo bias. We love the familiar. Change scares us. So we rationalize our society's norms as moral, even if they're nuts. Foot binding in ancient China? Aztec sacrifices? Seem barbaric now, but status quo made them normal. Same with government. Born into it, schooled to revere it, we assume it's legit. Whether or not any government were legitimate, most of us would have a strong tendency to believe that some governments are legitimate, especially our own. It's comfort over truth. Pathetic, but human. Next, Stockholm Syndrome. Remember that 1973 Swedish bank heist? Hostages bonded with their captor, even fundraised for his defense. It's a survival hack. Cozy up to your controller. Extend that to the state-citizen dynamic. Governments hold the guns, control your fate. Pay up, obey, or suffer. Over time, we develop patriotism, emotional ties, denial of coercion. Huemer. Citizens tend to identify with their governments, adopt their government's perspectives, and develop emotional attachments. We minimize the theft and violence, calling it civic duty. Stockholm on a national scale. Brilliant for tyrants, tragic for us. Finally, cognitive dissonance. That mental itch when your actions clash with your values. We pay taxes funding drone strikes on kids or cages for pot smokers, stuff we'd never do ourselves. To sleep at night, we convince ourselves government's special. Obedience is duty, not complicity. We obey because we are conscientious and caring citizens, and we thus make great sacrifices to do our duty and serve our society. Way better than admitting we're cowed by fear or habit. Dissonance resolved, illusion preserved. Wrapping this up, political authority is a sham, propped up by flawed theories and brain bugs. Governments aren't morally superior, they're just bigger pirates with better PR. Recognizing this doesn't mean anarchy in the chaotic sense. Some rules, like don't steal or kill, hold regardless. But state-specific edicts, question them fiercely. Huemer reminds there are laws you should obey for independent moral reasons, but the state's monopoly on violence? Illegitimate. If this torched your statist assumptions, smash that like button, subscribe to the Stateless Standard for more unfiltered truth, and share this with the sheeple in your life. Drop your thoughts below. Why do you think we obey? Until next time, stay sovereign.